So, I was watching Jarvis Johnson's video about spending a week in the Metaverse. And in that video, he mentioned that he had found some articles saying that it only had about 40 active players. But when he tried to count up all the people in the top lobbies, he found about 900 people total, which is still way lower than the number that Meta gave, which was 200,000. And I was very curious to see if that had changed, if those numbers had gotten closer together at all. And I was only able to find the same 200,000 number that he did, which was surprising because it's been like 6 months since he made that video, so I kind of would have thought there would have been some new information. But while doing that research, I found the massive number of active Metaverse users. It was 600 million people, which seemed really wrong. I don't know of like any other big metaverse in quotation marks things besides like Horizon Worlds and a few like crypto things that I've heard about. And so I was trying to find a source for this because it was mentioned in a few different articles. So this wasn't just made up. This came from somewhere. And so I was hunting for it until I found a graph and article on the website Metaverse Consulting. And looking at that graph, I found that it included active players from Minecraft and Roblox and Fortnite, which accounted for a total of 85% of the Metaverse users, which was confusing to me because none of these are really the Metaverse. What the Metaverse is, by definition, is it is from the book Snow Crash, where it is a virtual reality internet that everyone uses that has everything you could possibly do on it. It includes shopping, games, it's how you work, it's how you do everything except for, like, pee, eat, and sleep. Think about the Oasis from Ready Player One. And, by that definition, the Metaverse hasn't even been achieved yet. Horizon Worlds is, again, probably the closest thing, with the way that it has mini games and concerts and like work stuff and like user created bars and stuff to hang out. But we're not exactly there yet. Horizon Worlds is just so technically far behind all its competitors. Think VR chat. It's not there yet. And I think the reason that it's toted around as this 400 million thing is because people are either not understanding what the Metaverse actually is, similar to like AI, where people are like, all this AI generated stuff, where none of it is actually artificial intelligence at all. It's kind of like a step in that direction, but it is entirely not AI in its current state. I think it's kind of a similar thing to that, where it's absolutely not the actual Metaverse, but people are calling it that because it's like a step in that direction. And that makes sense because it does have a kind of watered down definition, which is just a virtual reality space in which users can interact with computer generated environments and other users. Which I have a problem with that because that's very vague. That's an incredibly vague definition that includes too many things. To look at this data chart really quick, I just thought this was funny. Stuff like Web3 accounts for only 1.5% of users. It has like this whole section on it, but like the actual percent of it is so low. And this is supposed to be the future of the internet. Like, I understand that it's not going to take over immediately, but like it's been around for a few years at this point, and it's just barely over 1% of the Metaverse. like, these things are supposed to be the future, why they really haven't taken hold yet. And VR only accounts for about 5% of all the users, which is very surprising because of how integral VR is to the actual definition of the metaverse. And I was looking at this, and I thought that this whole thing feels very misleading in favor of the metaverse, because think about what you would refer to as the metaverse. You are probably thinking Horizon Worlds, because it's been advertised as that, and probably some other crypto things that have called themselves the metaverse. And the definition of it is so vague that it includes like nearly any multiplayer game that you can think of. Here's a list of things that by the current definition of the metaverse count as the metaverse. We have Apex Legends, Astroneer, Enter the Gungeon, Don't Starve Together, Dead by Daylight, Deep Rock Galactic, Fallout 76, Lethal Company, The Long Drive, Muck, Portal, Raft, Risk of Rain, fucking Tree Simulator counts. Now, if you didn't get it, the point of what I'm saying is the definition is so vague that it includes nearly any multiplayer game you can think of. A computer-generated environment is just like any environment in the video game. They're all computer-generated. And other users is any multiplayer game because there's other users. Now, the only part that I didn't include is virtual reality, because this graph, or this chart, also includes things that aren't virtual reality. It has like browser apps and stuff, which already takes out, if you uninclude that, it already takes out over 500 million of the metaverse's monthly users. I'm only using it because this graph is using it that way. Like I said earlier, I think all of this is so misleading in favor of like Horizon Worlds and stuff, because that's what you refer to as the metaverse. I haven't really seen people refer to any of these other multiplayer VR games or multiplayer games as the metaverse. Here I am on this chart, and those things that don't count as the metaverse account for 500 million of the users. And the things that are getting the benefit of hearing about these 600 million monthly users in the metaverse are these crypto things and all the Web3 stuff and Horizon Worlds, because they are what is viewed as the metaverse, and all of this other stuff that counts isn't. That's kind of my whole thing about this. I just went down this whole rabbit hole and got really annoyed at how misleading all of this information was, and especially when it's used out of context and used without like a great source, where it says like, yeah, they've got 600 million, where it's got like, yeah, it has 600 million people in it. It's just, I don't like it. It's very misleading. It doesn't follow the right definition. Even this information that I have, it's really shitty because it doesn't even follow the current dictionary definition of the metaverse, because it includes stuff that's not VR. This was kind of just a rant because all of this was just really annoying me the more research I did. If you liked me ranting about this, like, subscribe, leave a comment about it. If you have any comment, if you have anything to comment about, if you want to defend the metaverse, leave a comment below. Yeah, that's all. Goodbye.